Hello, everybody. We're starting the MapleSim presentation. Uh, I'm Luke. I'm one of the sub-lead programmers for FRC 930.
And I'm Ephraim, and I'm one of the normal programmers on the team.
We're going to be introducing you guys to MapleSim so you guys can hopefully integrate it into your early season. We're going to introduce you guys to MapleSim so you guys can hopefully integrate it into your early season for early testing. We're going to go over what MapleSim exactly is, what advantage scope is, why we would want to use MapleSim, how we can incorporate projectile simulation in MapleSim, some additional features and the future of MapleSim, and we're going to give you a few links so you guys can do some research on your own as well.
So first, what is MapleSim? MapleSim is a physics/simulation engine that simulates 2D forces and collisions with the field elements and game pieces for FRC purposes. Just like on the screen, you see that the coral and algae are being pushed by the robot and being knocked over. Um, MapleSim functions through advanced scope simulation, and MapleSim is made by Iron Maple Team 5516 from Shenzhen, Guangdong, China.
So what is Advantage Scope? Advantage Scope is a tool that lets us view graphs of our robot, mainly view a representation of it on a 2D field, and on the previous slide, you saw it simulated on a 3D field. We are able to use it for MapleSim. It's how we see the 3D field. It is developed for first teams by Team 6328. It's near necessary to be using MapleSim because otherwise there's no easy way for MapleSim to get the values of the robot's position from simulation, and there's no easy way for you to see the simulation outputs.
Why should we use it? Well, knowing how your robot will interact with its environments in advance is vital for preparing your robot for success on the field. Practicing in simulation before the robot is completely mechanically can be a useful tool because it allows for drivers to give their input on the design and how it feels actually exploring, giving robot more assembly or more flexibility.
It's an easy way for us to be able to see our robot before we actually put it on the field and endanger people. Projectile simulation enables them. It's basically where in 2024 use notes and fire them in various places. Enables them to implement various ways to do projectile simulation where it predicts and programs and visualizes the path that notes will take based on given subsystems that your robot has. So you will be able to fine-tune the subsystems a little bit more, be able to edit the code of them, changing some auto lines a little bit before you get on the field. Obviously, it's not going to be completely perfect because there are real-life factors that affect it as well. But it is very helpful to get you a nice estimation to get you guys ready to be doing your projectiles before you get your robot fully built and onto the field.
So how you use it? You can use the MapleSim documentation to start using MapleSim. It also uses advanced scope to visualize the robot and game pieces. So first, we're going to look through the documentation.
So here we have the main MapleSim documentation page. As you can see, there are lots of sections based on exactly what you are going to want to use with MapleSim. It should include lots of code snippets. It'll demonstrate what this feature of MapleSim does, what you can use it for, and it shows code snippets where you can easily implement an example of these MapleSim components in your code. Inside installation, there should be instructions here to be able to add the dependency. See, it's just one link. You can add a dependency and start coding with MapleSim. This documentation can be explored in your own time if you want to be able to implement a specific thing. You find that they're very thorough for completing tasks that you want to do, and there's really no disadvantage just using the documentation itself rather than any external sources.
Additional features of MapleSim. So you can use AI robots that can be summoned to interact and store field elements along with your robot. This will be easiest to implement with the Kickoff for this season. They also can be configured to follow a set path from Pathfinder or be manually controlled by a joystick.
See here in the video, we are able to spawn large masses of objects, and Ableton is very optimized. It's because most of the simulation is run in 2D. It's just a nice visualization of models to help you, and projectile simulation with all 3D. So because it's 2D simulated, your robot is still able to hit walls and all that. It's still able to combine with a bunch of algae from last year. It just isn't going to be the most accurate when trying to see if your robot can lift up on top of the algae or anything. But it's nice that we're able to efficiently run it, so most computers on your team will be able to run it.
So the outlook for MapleSim. You can use this MapleSim for this coming season, but you have to wait for Maple to implement the game pieces. From last year, last year, they said that this year, this season, will be the last year that they will be contributing to it, so the community will have to use it after.
It's essentially going to be like an orphan project where anyone who wants to can pick it up and contribute to it. And then Iron Maple is just going to be administrating it, making sure that nobody uploads bad code to it. But most of it is going to be run by the community in the future. And on Team 930, we're hoping that we might be able to help out with development of future years and Maplesim.
So a recap of the presentation. First, we talked about what is MapleSim, why is it good to use. Then we explained what is Advantage Scope. Then we talked about how we can use it in the real world. And then we also talked about how we can simulate the projectiles, and we taught you how to use it and some additional features.
Are there any final questions that anyone would like to ask? I'm fairly sure that MapleSim is single-threaded, but because of the efficient calculations, it should not be that much of a difference. Any other? Yes, that is one of the main predicted uses for it this year, is that we will be able to use it for, before we get actual physical robots onto the field, you can cooperate with people to get basic strategy down, basic drive practice, even have some robots running Pathfinder together on it, be able to get more into that strategy without going onto the actual field. If, say, if you have two teams that are like across the world, they can connect over the internet without having to physically go to each other. This could also probably be used for competitions when you're forming your alliance to be able to run strategies together in simulation to see if your robots architects fit together good. Yes, it is simulating all of robot functions, so you will be able to practice using that before the actual robot is done. You have all these links for some resources, documentation, the example repo, the Advantage Scope docs, and the MapleSim pixel docs. Does anybody else have any final questions? Okay, this has been MapleSim with Luke and Ephraim from Team 930. Have a good day, guys.